Well, people, we have come to the end, and it just felt right to save this for the last of our celebration episode, right? Because so many times, right, I come on and I'm like, yo, this episode is thanks to, right? And the name that gets repeated the most is today's guest, people. They call her the queen of brunch. They call her the template, right? She is what public relations people aspire to be.
Oh my God. That's
People,
so,
I
stop
bring
it.
you AJ Feuerman.
You're so nice. You could be my publicist, Kevin. That's like exceedingly generous. Thank you very much.
It's all
Wow.
true, AJ. It's
I don't
all
know about
true.
that, but
It's,
thank you very
hey,
much. I've been doing this a long
I
time,
think
and you're the president of my fan club.
I think you forget that I talk to all the people you pass to me, and when the cameras stop rolling, you know what I mean? They're just continuing to gush how great it is to work with a certain publicist and how, you know what I mean? Like she gave me all these interviews and I didn't
Well, that's
think
so
it was
nice.
gonna be this, you
I mean,
know?
and right back at you because anytime first of all, I never mind sending you literally any film. I don't send you all of them, but I send you a lot of them, and I always know that my clients are in good hands with you. And what's more, like what you said, they always come back to me, and it's like Kevin is such a cool dude, and he like so clearly like watched the film and got what we were doing, and on and on. So same to you. I guess we're a good duo. But yeah, and I appreciate it. Look, independent film is rough. It's a climb uphill all the way. These are small films, often without known talent. So
Mm.
anytime a member of the press like you takes a sincere interest in it, like I am just thrilled and happy to work with you.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's easy. I mean, it's easy to talk about good films, and you send me good films, right? And
Yeah.
so, like, I am always shocked, when you start talking to someone and you're like, "I really enjoyed your film," and they're like, "Wait, you watched it?" It's just like,
I
I
mean, I hate to say it, but like not always the case, unfortunately. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but like I think that there is press out there that does not watch the film before they, you know,
mm.
talk to the teams. I'm sure there's probably publicists who don't watch their films or don't watch all of them or whatever. And like to each their own. Everyone's got their own process. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, but it's kind of like I feel you can't have a great conversation if you haven't watched the film,
sure,
right? And how
sure.
can
I would agree with you. Absolutely.
mm, and when it comes to promoting the film and getting it in front of the right people and the right formats, you have to. I feel you have to have watched the film, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The one that's always tough for me is scary movies. As a consumer, I don't
Mm.
like scary movies. So, like, if I ever get to working on a horror film, I like watch it in my office with all the windows open during the day. It's like so scared. So, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I watch all of them, and I'm pulling clips and referencing details, and so yeah, of course I watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you. I have to watch a horror during the day. I can't do it at night. And the other day, I got sent one, and for whatever reason, I it was in my head that it's probably fine, right? Because I just got
Yeah.
so busy that I had to watch it a bit later, and it wasn't even crazy late. It's like 7 o'clock, but
Mhm.
because of the clocks and everything and the time of year, it's dark outside.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
oftentimes
regretted it.
sorry. No, oftentimes if I pick up a horror movie to work on, got a couple friends that are very into horror films, and I'll like either make them watch it first and like warn me, or if I want to go see, like I really wanted to see Weapons. Did you see Weapons?
Oh, that was so good.
I have not seen it. I just worked on a project with Amy Madigan, who I know is in the film, and I said to her, I was like, I really want to see it, but I'm a wimp. Like and she was like, watch that one at home with someone to hold a hand, like. So I do try to get some feedback just to like mentally prepare myself.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
actually, the
yeah.
funny thing is that I love working on horror movies. It's the most fun community to be in. So
Mm.
yeah,
They do embrace their films.
we do. And I always say they don't care if it's Tom Cruise or Tom Smith. They just want to get scared shitless and like
Mhm.
love the movie. And sometimes the quality of the movie, even if it's not, peak A+ production value, sometimes that just enhances the experience to them, so
Yeah.
it's nice, it's great, it's a lot of fun, and it's not as cynical and jaded. It's like, it's not like, oh, a drama. You know what I mean? I don't know, no slight against dramas, this is sounding terrible, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I think that is the big thing. It seems with horror films, it gets embraced regardless of any, shortcomings that there might be because of budget, right?
Yeah,
They'll go,
yeah,
oh, we can go past that. But when it's like a thriller, a drama, something like that, if a button is in the wrong place, people can be like, well, you know,
yeah,
I'm out, right?
yeah.
So it's yeah, it's always an interesting thing. But I will say this year especially, the indie scene has been where a lot of my favorite films have come from,
Oh,
because
sure.
I've been watching, all of these supposed Oscar contenders and, the ones that are tagged to be big in award season,
Yeah,
and haven't been blown away, to be honest with you,
yeah, yeah. It's funny, I was just listening to another podcast in the car a little bit ago, and the host was saying, like, you know, no one knows how to get people back into theaters, but some of the movies that are coming out are not the way to do it. And I thought that was pretty funny. He didn't
Mm,
mention any movies specifically, but I'm not even sure if the quality at this point, I don't know what it's like abroad, but here in the States, I don't know how to get people back into theaters. I've got my own ideas, but it's not my space of expertise. I don't know. Um,
yeah.
so
Well, I think a big one is, I think, the experience itself,
for
because,
sure.
going to the cinema used to be the cheap date, right? The affordable thing to do with friends.
Absolutely, or even to take the kids on a
Yeah,
Saturday, right?
you can't do that anymore.
No, you
It's
really
so
can't.
expensive.
I have one friend who's like, if I'm gonna spend that much on a movie, she's like, I might as well take the kids to Disneyland and have a full day. Like two kids, a mom, a dad, concessions. Obviously, Disneyland is infinitely more expensive, but she's trying to make a point,
Yeah.
and she's not wrong. And if someone asked me based on my minimal expertise about theatrical business, I would say the first thing we have to do is lower prices
Mm,
or keep the prices as they are and add something experiential to it. Really big trend here in LA right now, or maybe it's across the US, I'm not sure, is like um, fan, like get your popcorn or your soda in like something custom for the movie.
yeah.
People are collecting them, it's become like, it's kind of becoming a thing. It's a slow burn, but
Mm,
the problem is that you still have to pay for those on
yep.
top of your ticket, right? Now if I could buy my ticket for a couple extra bucks and that was included, I think that that's the easier sell
Hmm.
personally. I also think, with all due respect to the artists like Scorsese, Kenneth Lonergan, all these guys who make these like incredibly beautiful dramas, I don't think 3-hour movies are going to get people back in theaters either. At least not right now. You gotta cater to the social media world. Everyone's got short attention spans. So like that's one of the things I love about indies, right? Because how often do you come across an independent film that's more than 90 minutes? Not very often, at least not with my
No.
clients. So, it's like even when I'm like pitching critics, I tell them the runtime most of the time, like up front. I'm like, you're only spending 87 minutes watching this film, right? As
Mm.
opposed to, um, I don't know, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I tried to watch a documentary last night and then I saw it was 2 hours and 55 minutes. And I was like, nope. I don't want
Yeah.
to, I just don't want to commit that much time right now.
Yeah.
And if it is a 3 hour movie, I'm much more inclined to watch it at home where I'm comfortable and don't have to spend a fortune. And, so I'm just rambling on. Did you have any important questions for me?
No, but I think the experience thing is a big part of the cinema, right? Because if
Yeah.
I'm paying all that money, then police the cinema properly, right? So
Yeah.
stamp out people talking and being a nuisance. Because I found, right, I've worked at a cinema while at uni. And I started off just, on the floor, and then I was made a supervisor.
Cool.
And it was because they used to do the whole free strike thing. And as soon as I got made a supervisor, I was like, yeah, we're not doing that shit anymore. And first infringement, you were out, right? Because we used to hand out so many comps a week, like
Yeah.
hundreds,
Oh my God.
because people were talking and running around and being obnoxious, right?
Yep.
The minute, the minute I changed it, no more comps.
Yeah.
No more comps. And if you're paying a lot of money, you want to have at least a good experience.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny. I just had a flashback. A friend of mine, my friend Kelly, and I went to see Girl Interrupted in theaters. And I don't know, when was that? Like the late 90s.
Yeah.
And um, I don't remember what it was, but something in the movie made us laugh like idiots. Like we could not control. It's a great movie. I absolutely
Mm.
love that movie. But at that moment, something just triggered us into like a big fit of giggles. And we almost got thrown out because the woman sitting behind us complained that we were disruptive, which we were, but we were like 19. Which I don't know, maybe that's pretty immature for 19. But anyway, I don't know. Do people even get thrown out of films anymore? Or like, I hate to say it, but like I don't want to listen to children and babies cry during a movie that
Mhm.
they shouldn't be in the first place, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, that's a smart thing. If they think they're going to get comped, like get rid of that for sure.
Yeah.
um yeah, there's a theater out here called iPick. I've only been once, but it's kind of like a Draft House vibe. If you're familiar with
Oh,
Draft
okay.
House, they
Yeah.
have a restaurant, they have big comfy chairs. They also they'll do like um flashback nights where you can come see like 1977 Superman or Star Wars
Ooh,
or whatever. And
yeah.
like for people of my generation, there's a lot of older movies like that that I didn't get to see on a big screen because either I wasn't born yet or I was too young, right? So
Mm.
I love going to stuff like that. If I have an opportunity to see something older that I didn't get to experience, I love things like that. I encourage theaters to do that all day long. Like
Yes.
the
That's always
Lemley chain
great.
out here in Los Angeles does that. They'll have like
Mm.
themed months, So I think that that's a good way to get people in the theaters. But then you also need good marketing and public relations. See how I did that? Tied it.
Mhm. Yep, yep. And I think that's a big thing because I believe a big part of people not going to the cinema is the marketing and PR,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I
Very
think
well.
that's a huge thing. So when a film comes to you, like, how do you kind of gauge that aspect of things?
The what?
How do you gauge the best way to promote something? Like
Oh,
where to send it and just all of that kind of stuff.
that's a good question. I mean, there's definitely at this point, there's definitely some kind of formula involved,
Mm.
right? Like obviously, um, announcement of the film, release the trailer, book interviews, get critics, like that's like the basic touchstones, right?
Yeah.
But it's also like understanding the genre, uh, who talks about that genre, who's talked about the actors in the film before and going back to them, or if they're new, who's talking about newbies. It's and there's like little things, asking where people are originally from. Do they have a local paper? Things like that. But that all happens at the top, and usually in the proposal phase, when someone comes to me and they want to hire me, but they want to see a proposal
Mm.
first. That's usually all up front. Like, this is everything I think we should do. And I'm still adaptive, and I'm happy to pivot in real time if something's not working. But usually the plan is all done up front.
Yeah.
And that's just as much for them as it is for me, because if I am working on more than one film at a time, which I almost always am, right? It's a good document for me to go back to and be like, what was my idea again? So there's that, right? Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, it's different for every film. Um, and then there's also like the press side of it is, have I been going to Deadline too much? Do I want to go to Variety this time? Do
Yeah.
I, this this critic gave my last movie a really bad review. Do I want to send them this film? And stuff like that. And then sometimes it's a film where there's a little more budget, or there's a social media component that's really strong, and there's an opportunity to do something much more exciting.
Mm. Yeah. I think when you think about like approaches and stuff, a lot of places do the one thing fits all approach, which is very disappointing. I think there's so many unique ways to tell a story, you know what I mean, to get people in. I remember I covered a film called Clone Cops,
Okay.
which was a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of I can't think of it. I feel it was sometime in the 80s, that Flash Gordon film, with Brian Blessed,
Oh God,
Flash,
yeah.
he's alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had that kind of vibe to it. And they created this like pseudo website for the large corporation in the film.
Oh,
So
cool.
like little ads selling the products this company
Yeah.
supposedly did, and a phone line, right, where you called up to, make a complaint or something, and it had a
Oh,
message
yeah, yeah.
made. And I
That's
thought
like
that was really a unique approach, and it's different and then fun.
yeah. There was a movie that did that. Gosh, I can't remember. It was an Australian, or maybe he was from New Zealand, but it was a movie. It took place in like a dystopian future, and like all the advertisements were for, I think they were like for the company that like runs. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, yes, it's a good idea.
Yeah. It's like, if I was on the marketing team for something like Bridget Jones,
Okay.
right, I would create a profile for Bridget. And in the rollout to the film, I would drop like excerpts of my diary.
Sure.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
On
a
the
great
lead.
idea.
Yeah, and different things like that. But you don't see a studio doing anything really
No.
different.
It'll be interesting when I think to do stuff on social media, you definitely have to have quality visual assets. God, if I was doing Bridget Jones in today's world, I would be, working with Renee Zellweger to create like get ready with me videos, and you know, I don't know. She's got, so that character, like she would be a fun influencer to
Yeah.
create.
But
Um,
failed stuff, right? So
what's that?
it would be like failed attempts at stuff. So
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Or
people, I'm gonna try this new trend of, this hair technique, and then you
yeah,
do a couple of them, and then on day 3,
yeah,
be like, I don't think this is working.
yeah, or
I'm gonna try this new thing, and then
baking
just do that.
something that ends up being a disaster,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a lot of, I mean, look, it's leaning that way now. Like, I don't know, Glenn Powell just did, I mentioned him before. Glenn Powell is doing all kinds of influencer content for Running Man right
Okay.
now. So they basically and maybe he's more amenable to this because he's a young guy and he's much more
Mm.
like hip to the times, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can get, you're probably not going to get, I don't know, who's an older actor. I mean, you're not going to get like
And
Russell
name.
Crowe or Denzel Washington to do this, right? But they put
No.
Glenn Powell in a studio and they had the influencers come in and film whatever their shtick is and leave, and on to
Mm.
the next one. And that's the game you've got to play now. I'll be really curious to see how that box office pans out.
Yes, because it is one of those, you know, franchises that is so synonymous with like Schwarzenegger, or what I mean, where something is kind of like attached to someone. And so a lot of people think of it as that. And I heard that with this one, Edgar Wright was going more to the book,
Oh, okay.
because the Schwarzenegger version, it was mainly name and kind of concept, but they changed a lot of it. So
Yeah.
this one's meant to be truer to the source. So it looks different, looks interesting.
Yeah. It's yeah, look, they're trying to make him a Tom Cruise. They're trying to make Glenn Powell like this marquee name, an action star, maybe. Uh, I think he's bankable. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he can carry a movie on his own.
Mm,
So yeah, and it's certainly a movie that you want to see in a theater. I think when it's like a
yeah.
low shit up action movie, I'd much rather see it on a big screen.
Yes.
Personally.
Oh,
So
definitely. And I
yeah,
think that's where some of these kind of like 4D, where they do extra bells and
yeah. I
whistles.
mean, 3D makes me nauseous. I typically avoid it, but again, if it gets people in the theaters, go for it. Um, I did one somewhat recently. What did we go see? Oh, my friends and I went to an anniversary screening of Dogma, Kevin Smith's
Oh,
film,
yeah.
and it was a 4D experience.
Oh.
So it was like gusts of wind and water, and our chairs shook, and the whole experience is like half fun, half nauseating. So I don't know that I need to do that again. There's a lot of blood spatter in that movie, so there was a lot of stuff coming at us. Um,
Right.
we got really, really nervous when the shit demon came on screen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We're like, okay, here comes the poo. I don't know. God help us.
Oh boy, I can't see 3D, so I miss
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
You're not, in my opinion, look, if you can't, if you have to see a movie in 3D to enjoy it, then something's wrong. I think that, in my opinion, a movie should be enjoyable in 2D just as much as 3D,
Mm,
as much as 4D, because you certainly don't want to alienate any audience at this point, right? So why would you do that? But
yes. Yeah, that I think that's the thing. Like it's like I feel you should be able to strip the score away from a film and it still invokes all the emotions.
mhm,
Because if you need the score to let you know that this is a scary part, or I should be showing empathy right now,
mhm.
then you kind of mess shit up.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. But the I don't know, the score should maybe accentuate the movie, not
Yes,
define it.
that is the big thing. It's a new character.
Yeah.
That's what I think a
Yeah.
good score does. It
Yeah.
invokes. It doesn't push.
Yeah.
Hmm. But Yeah, it's one of them things. I feel it's one of those things. I had a lot of different things from you this year, which is
Yeah,
always
it's a busy
very
year.
interesting. Documentaries, some fun, dramas and
Yeah.
stuff, and
I worked
a
on some
lot.
shorts this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of shorts, but if you come to me with a good story and a good hook, I'm in. So there was some compelling stuff.
Oh man, I think, yeah, like I enjoy all the things you send, but I remember you sent me I'm so bad with pronunciation. I'm just the worst.
Yeah. Was it the French one?
Yeah, it was like Three Waltzes, I
Waltz
think.
for Three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That that movie, like I try not to play favorites. I like all my filmmakers, but um I mean it's a short film and I was like sobbing. It really moved me. It
mm,
was a beautiful little film. And also a very nice filmmaker. Yeah, that was a pleasure to work on. That movie was like hauntingly beautiful in my
oh my gosh, it
opinion. So
it was so well done. It
yeah,
was just so well done, like, because the the concept, like a woman picking up a male prostitute,
yeah,
right? But oh my god, it was so like deep when you broke it down.
yeah. I
And
mean, for anyone watching who has not had the experience of seeing the film, um, basically a woman who's lost her husband and is very lonely in the big giant house he left her, hires a male escort to keep her company and to dance with her, to waltz with
mm,
her because that's something she and her husband did. It's dark but tragically beautiful. It's not scary dark. It's just kind of haunting.
yes.
But yeah, and the filmmaker on that, Oriana, was absolutely lovely to work with, and I'm sure she'll go on to do some very impressive features. I hope
Mm,
she does. It was
oh yeah,
that film was lovely. Yeah, yeah. It
yeah.
premiered at Dances with Films here in LA.
Oh man, yeah. I was just blown away by the techniques
Yeah.
used and just the way. And then, you know, I ended up talking to her on my
Mhm.
birthday, and it was like an incredible conversation. Like just such a great conversation. And it really did make the day, because if it wasn't for that, it would have been a bit of a shitty birthday. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it was just perfect. It was just
yeah.
fantastic.
Sometimes it's look, like one of the nice things about working with newer indie filmmakers is just quite simply that look, I haven't worked with a lot. I pretty much stay in independent films, so I haven't really met like it's not like I've ever met Steven Spielberg or Brian De Palma, like these guys that are way up there in whatever. But
Mhm.
uh, they could be very nice men. I honestly have no idea. I hope that they're nice guys, but when you work with these newer filmmakers, they're not jaded yet. They're not celebrities. They're just very proud of their art and want to get it out there. And I've had the privilege this year, especially, of working with a lot of first time filmmakers and also really, really young
Mm,
filmmakers. So, I think you spoke to Kabir
yes.
McNeely from Fallaway. I mean, that kid is, I don't know, I can't even remember, 21, 22, if that, and just wanted to make a movie and he got it done, and it's a great little film and it's winning some awards at festivals right now. And then you've got I worked with a guy, Michael, whose last name is escaping me, on a film called Thruple.
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know if you spoke to him or not, but
Yeah, yeah. I
but
covered.
also a really young guy. So Dozier, Michael Dozier.
Mm,
And like I love working with those young guys who are just out there trying to make it happen for themselves. Good for them. Like nowadays, it's kind of that old, if you want to get something done right, do it yourself.
yeah.
Which is easier said than done, especially with a film. But I mean, applause to people like that. I think it's so cool, so badass.
Mm. Yeah, and they're so like humble, right? And they're, you'll be like, oh man, I just love the way you did this thing, and then like, oh,
Yeah,
that wasn't me, that you know what, I spoke to the DP and they suggested a thing, so you should give the credit to that. They're like, giving everyone their
yeah,
flowers,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
Or then you've
beautiful.
got guys like Kabir who like did everything, like put on all the hats himself, which is like insane to me. Someone
Mm,
so talented and dedicated and already so busy is like, oh, I'm going to edit my own film. Oh, I'm going to DP my own film. It's crazy, but I love it. I mean, going all the way back, I think it's like, Sylvester Stallone wanted to star in Rocky, so he sold the script and said, I'm
yeah.
not giving you my script unless I can star in the film. Like that's, people have been doing that for a while. You got to
Mm,
get your shit done.
yeah.
So,
It's impressive. Like last year, you had Year One and
sure, sure.
Samson,
Oh my
Tacoma.
god. Still obsessed with Samson.
Oh my God,
Like I
so
said, I don't like to play favorites. I've worked on a lot of great movies, but Samson was special. That
mm,
movie blew my mind, and I bought it. I've watched it, and I have a free screening link, but I bought it. I buy a lot of my movies. I like to contribute, but I'm still in touch with that filmmaker. I love the story of how they made that movie. And for anyone watching this, seriously, go on, you know, Apple, Fandango, whatever. Watch this movie. It's so clever.
yeah.
It's so clever.
Oh, because that's the thing, because you're watching it and you think it's gonna do, and then
Oh,
suddenly,
yeah, and it's got a
oh,
musical number in it. I mean, out of
yeah.
nowhere, but it still makes sense. I First of all, like, a third of the movie takes place in the trunk of a car,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you remember,
Yeah.
they built the trunk of a car just a little bit bigger so that they could film in it, but, like, they built that themselves, and they figured out how to film it themselves, and it's just,
Mm.
ingenuity like that, you know?
Oh man, it blows you away.
Like, it's easy
Like,
enough for a studio to do that when they've got money after money, but,
yes.
these guys are scrappy and they made it happen, and there's the result, and we got reviews from that movie where it was like, "Oh my god, like, don't sleep on this indie. It is
Mm.
great." We even got it on, sorry, I'm going on so much, but we actually got that one on Access Hollywood because the word of
Oh,
mouth was just so good that, a mainstream commercial like Mario Lopez is on TV talking about this indie film. It was amazing. Amazing.
oh man, that's so huge.
Yeah, I mean, we were dining out on that one for weeks. We were like, "Oh my god." I still have the clip on my laptop. Like, it's amazing. I actually saw Mario Lopez at a restaurant 2 months ago and, thanked him for doing it. I don't know if he remembered doing it, but I thanked him anyway, and super
Nice.
nice guy, so,
Oh man,
yeah.
that's great. That's
Yeah,
great.
I texted the filmmaker. I was like, "I just got to thank Mario Lopez." It was pretty funny.
But that is the beauty of, what I mean, being able to have these long form conversations, because you get to go into, man, I love that scene where you did this, and they're like, oh well, to do it we did, and you're just like, yo, but you
Yeah,
get to hear all of those different things, right? It's
yeah.
like the mirror scene in Oriana's film,
Oh god,
which
yeah,
when you first
gorgeous.
see them dance the first time, and it's so beautiful, and
Yeah,
just having her explain how that happened, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
for
so
sure.
fascinating.
For sure. And look, that's I think most people who have a podcast such as your like any interview podcast, even Conan O'Brien has said that he loves doing a podcast because when he hosts a talk show, the guest comes on, they tell a couple stories, they plug their film and they're gone. But
Mm,
shows like yours, like Conan Needs a Friend, Smartless, these are hour-long episodes because, they really get into it and they talk about someone's career, not just this one thing. And it's so much more engaging and it feels so much more authentic and much less self-serving and promotional.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I think this about me. I'm a podcast junkie, but I primarily listen to interview podcasts. I just
yeah.
love stories. Like I said before, a good story. It's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Have
I
you?
also read books constantly. So
Yeah.
I've read 3 books in the last 4 days. I kind of went nuts, but
Anything good to recommend?
um, I just finished Diane von Furstenberg's autobiography from 2011. It was recommended to me. Her life is wild. If you're into autobiographies or you're into fashion, or even if you're not, her life is just fascinating. I just started Cameron Crowe's memoir, speaking of filmmakers.
Uh,
It's terrific.
nice.
I'm also reading I've gotten into this thing where I read more than one book at a time, which I used to never do, but somehow
Yeah.
I am. I'm reading a memoir by a gal named Elise Myers, who is an influencer. I know her from TikTok, but look, a lot of influencers and whatever, everyone's getting book deals now. And I thought, another influencer with a book deal, but it got onto the New York Times bestseller. So I got really interested, and it's a 5-hour audiobook, which is not a very
No, it's not that long.
and I was like, sure, I walk my dog a lot. I'll give it a listen. And I'm about 20 pages from finishing it right now. It's really great, especially
Ah,
because she reads it herself and she's also a
okay.
comedian, so she infuses it with a lot of personality. So, if anyone's looking for something sweet and authentic and honest, I recommend her book a lot. So,
Okay.
ELYSE, Elise Myers.
Yeah, I have to look into those three.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I like memoirs. When I'm reading memoirs, I usually do it audio. If they read their own story, I think it's much cooler to listen to it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just realized I'm talking about reading. Can you tell that I like reading?
Hey, it could be one of those, showcase bookcases with
Yeah.
no real
Well,
books.
and to be fair, 9 times out of 10 I read on my Kindle, but uh I'm also kind of just like a collector, and so like they're organized in their own way. And I don't know if you can see, but like all my Nick Hornby books are right here. He's one of my favorites.
Mm,
I've got all my girly books over here. Um, Sometimes I just like to have them.
yeah. Yeah. So especially if the cover is incredible. Like,
Right? I
oh,
know. I know. Um, I can't tell you how often I have picked up a book just because of the cover and like the briefs. I mean, but look, let's make that about movies, right? When people are designing their book cover, their key art, or their movie poster. In the business, we say key art, which is your
mm,
movie poster or your one sheet. Um, it- Nowadays, when you're designing that stuff, you have to think about how it's going to look on here when you're scrolling through whatever you want to watch,
yeah.
or on your TV, rapid fire. And that's why you get movie posters like Novocaine with just like a bright yellow background and a
Mm,
face, right? Or Nobody also was the same thing. So yeah, you're walking in the bookstore and the first thing that's going to grab you, unless you know what you're going for, is the cover. Um, and when you're scrolling, what's going to stop you? Not the text. Who can read it,
no. Yeah.
right? So yeah, and that's kind of cool. Another, also some people would argue, at least with on demand or streaming, if your movie starts with one of the earlier letters in the alphabet, you got a better shot. Because I'm gonna
Yeah.
get tired of scrolling around the letter C, probably. They call that alpha stacking.
Ah. Yeah,
So
that is very true
yeah,
because you get overloaded with
yeah.
stuff.
I mean, also, like, have you been on these platforms? The user interface on all
Oh,
of
it's
them is
horrible.
so clunky. Like,
Mm,
if I don't know what I want to watch, it is exhausting. Like last night I put on I was like, let's see what's on HBO Max. So it was like HBO Max. Looking at the new releases, nothing. Movies. Well, what kind of movie? Documentaries. Do you want it alphabetical? Okay, alphabetical. And then I'm just like scrolling and I'm like, ugh. And I ended up watching something I'd seen before because I
yeah.
was so over it. Like the scrolling and the finding the section. And anyway.
Yeah, like I wish there was a function on like Netflix where you could click on a director or an actor and it would give you all of their stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think you can type someone's name into the search and maybe get all their projects. I'm not sure, but do people search that way? I have no idea. I've never done that. It's never even occurred to me.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
think
I'm in
you
the
can.
mood to watch a John Cusack movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can type it in, but it's just so, having to go like move the cursor
Yeah, I
around,
know.
like.
What we really need is remote controls with keyboards at this point. Like, let's be
Mm,
honest. The nice thing I have Roku televisions in my house, and they have an app so you can sync it to your TVs, which is so much easier when I'm searching because I can type in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
title as opposed to A
yeah.
M E, so
Yeah, no, that must be really useful
it's
because
pretty great.
I hate the search function.
Yeah, I know. They all stink. Yeah. But
Uh,
that's what we
yeah.
do. What we do.
So, do you find yourself sometimes at the stage when you're helping someone with their film of poster creation and those kind of things,
What do you mean? Say again?
like when people bring a project to you, do you sometimes find yourself at the point where they're looking into creating the poster and like
Oh,
all the
oh, oh.
stuff?
Yeah, sometimes they come to me with everything completed. So I get hired a few different ways, right? Either I'm hired by the filmmakers themselves
Hmm.
and they bring the distributor into the conversation, or I'm hired by the distributor and the filmmakers are stuck with me, whether they like it or not. Or I'm hired by filmmakers who are distributing on their own. Or
Right.
I'm hired by filmmakers who are being distributed, but the distributor unfortunately has too much going on and is not really a participant in our campaign, right? I find most of the time when the filmmakers come to me on their own, everything's pretty much done. When a distributor gets involved, it's like much more. First of all, there's more money. Second
Mm,
of all, there's a whole team of people who know the business and think strategically, and so sometimes they're still working on key art or even a trailer when I come into the picture. Uh,
right.
so yeah, but it varies all over the place.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and then also like look, sometimes and this I used to be the head of PR at a distributor called Gravitas Ventures,
Mm,
and um, we oftentimes the filmmakers would come to us and we might even change the name of the film
yeah.
or really kind of fine tune what the genre is. Like, is it a horror film or is it a thriller? There is a difference, right?
Mm.
What's it going to sell better under on the business side of things if I'm on iTunes, so um there's that component of it as well that kind of gets thrown into the whole process of it all. Yeah. I hate
Okay.
when people change the title of the movie, though. It's a whole wrench in a PR campaign that I hate dealing with, if I'm being honest,
Mm,
because there's a million people out there already referring to the film as one
yeah.
thing, and then I have to get in there and change it or get them to meld or yeah, anyway, but it happens. It's a necessary evil sometimes.
Yeah, there's been times where I've been sent something and I'm, trying to find all the assets because not everyone sends you assets,
Yeah.
right? So I'm looking
I
for
think 9 times out of 10, you have to chase me down for assets. So, yeah.
no, but a lot of times you'll send stuff through and like, you know, the synopsis, the bio of the person is there, and you'll put in like the website and the social links, which is so helpful.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
having all of that stuff at hand. But when you have to look for it, there's times when I've not found anything and I'm just like, what is going? And then I
Yeah.
discover it's a different name. It went by a
Oh,
different name. And
yeah.
you're just like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually, I'll put, like, in parentheses, formerly
yeah.
XYZ. Um, it's funny you say that because I have to tell you, one of my number one pet I mean, look, as a publicist, a lot of people who do what I do, we subscribe to platforms where we can look up people's email addresses, right?
Right.
But a lot of the time, people move around so much now, and there's layoffs, and people go freelance and what have you, and a lot of times I log into one of those platforms, and I still can't find the email address, right? So then
Mhm.
I go to their personal website or their Twitter account or X, whatever. And, I just can't find their email address. And it makes me crazy. I'm like, why would you hide that information?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about my campaigns. It's like, I'm going to try to give you as much information. I want to arm you with all the information I can so you can go out there and be an evangelist for the film.
Well, that's why, because I kind of feel when I'm building the web page out for an episode, like I want to give people as much information as I can.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, if you enjoy the film, you might go, oh, what else does this director do? Or,
For sure.
does the film have a website, right? And if none of it's listed, because sometimes I'll go on a website and there's minimal info, and it's just like, they'll only mention 2 cast members and everything. So I'm just like, well, all these people put their heart into this. I should mention all the cast and just all of these different components. So you're trying to put as much there, right? So you can really give it a shine. Or if someone's thinks, oh, that sounds interesting, but you don't have links to where you can rent or buy the film, then what are we doing? So
we call that the CTA, the call to action.
Yes.
And a lot of times we will tell people to hold, press back, or just because we want to be able to direct them on where to actually get the film, and it's not necessarily available right away, right?
But yeah, when I'm talking to someone, then that's another level of crazy, because it's trying to find their info, right? So trying to find their website. Sometimes their website is so bad. You're just like, come on, man, sort it out. And it's like trying to find their LinkedIn and their socials. And it's like sometimes they'll list things, it's got a completely different name. And you're just like, you're trying to make it difficult for people to hire you. Like, what's going on?
You want a good one? One time I worked on a film where the distributor had changed the name of the film, and the filmmakers were unhappy about it, but they didn't have a choice. They had signed the film over to them.
Yeah.
But the filmmaker, I think like one producer refused to call it by the new name, and the director refused to do press at all. And so, talk about a naming convention issue. Yeah, I wish I can't remember exactly which film it was, and not that I would want to out somebody on that anyway, but yeah. I mean, that's a complicated thing. What is that? What's that quote from Shakespeare? What's in a name arose by any other name would smell just as sweet.
Something. Yeah, it's something along those.
Your movie is still your movie.
Yeah,
call it whatever.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You've worked so hard on it, and it's a window into, where you are right now. Yeah. So you want to push that thing, even if the name isn't, because a lot of times, right, there's songs I love. I cannot remember oftentimes the name of the song. I call it something else, but I'm just like, yo, you need to listen to this, right? And you know what I mean? So a name doesn't always mean a lot when people love something, because they're going to love it regardless.
You know what always blows my mind is people who are like really obsessed with a certain TV show or a comic book, and they can be like, oh, episode or season 3, episode 4, and it's called, David Gets a Wife or whatever, like they know like the season, the name, the episode name, the guest stars. And I'm like, wow. And don't get me wrong, there are some shows that I'm a huge fan of, and I can name a few episodes, but the people who walk around like walking catalogs, like that is impressive beyond measure to me.
Oh, for sure.
It's a level of commitment I do not own.
Because I'm more like, yo, it's the episode where the big thing comes and they do the thing, right?
The guy with the hair at the place. Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite one. Be like, the actor, they got hair. They got hair. And then just like, people look at me like, yo, what the fuck are you saying, man? Come on.
You feel sad when you see people with hair. You feel jealous.
Oh dear. Oh, I think since the last time we spoke, you're now teaching.
Oh yeah, well, I've been doing that for about a year and a half now, actually. I teach a social media marketing course at UCLA. With
Mm.
their extension program. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like
Do
it a
you
lot.
find that your work helps give you a different insight into that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm a publicist, but I also work in social, and I think one always informs the other and makes me stronger at both.
Mm.
Selfishly, the thing I like most about teaching is that I learn from the kids. Like, look, I'm in my 40s and these guys keep me young. They keep me informed. What are the trends? Who are they following? So it's a great resource for me in a way. But yeah, I just like teaching. I've always been a person who volunteers. Um, I've done a lot of like mentoring programs for kids and
Mm.
teenagers and yeah, yeah. So I just really like it. And my students are always super diverse. This past term, I had two students from France and someone from Brazil, someone from Russia, someone from Colombia. And the thing that's China, Japan, the thing that's really cool about that actually is when I'm teaching social media, um, obviously the things that are popular here are not necessarily what's popular in France or
Yeah.
Brazil. And so I love when we can have a conversation and I get to learn on kind of a global scale how social
Mm.
media is being used.
Yes, because that's always because I've work in comms and marketing, and so when you're doing things on an international level,
Yeah.
right, you've got to think about like language and right. So, oh, in this country doesn't use those terms. All right, it's very offensive if you do this and this, and you're like, okay, so
Yeah.
right, got
Well,
to
I
think
mean,
about that when I'm
Waltz
pushing
for
this.
Three was, in French. And even though it was a local release at a Los Angeles Film Festival, I was still actively seeking out press that spoke French or even the
Mm,
French Canadian press because, who's to say someone in LA isn't reading that outlet? But I'm going to where the audience would be for the film.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, and language is a whole other thing. Look, I speak about 20 words of French. Like that's it. Um, so yeah, sometimes I've asked filmmakers, like, can you translate this for me? Yeah. Yeah, that can be a tricky thing. It happened a lot when I worked in music. I worked in live music for a very short stint and lots of global tours.
Mm,
And it was oftentimes like, I don't know who to talk to in Germany about this. Like, are you kidding me? I don't have relationships with press in Berlin. Like, I don't even know how to form those relationships. I don't speak German, obviously.
yeah.
So yeah, that can be tricky too. Um, did you see the film I worked on? It was called More Than Miyagi. It was a documentary about Pat Morita.
Yes, I didn't see it, but because I think we started working together just after that one,
Yeah,
and
that
yeah,
film
so
had
I
a
missed that.
very, very large global release, and they self-distributed, so that was a lot of work. It went on for a while, and it was, we were getting press in Africa and Asia and, um, you know, Iceland and, like, all these incredible, places. It was tricky, but, we did it. That film was a lot, but so satisfying in the end with all the press we got on that.
Oh, that's yeah.
And
When
that's
you
an advantage because, like, I don't necessarily like, art is the great unifier, right? Because I
mm,
don't necessarily speak Polish, but who hasn't seen The Karate Kid,
yeah,
right? Everyone knows who Mr. Miyagi is. So that was
exactly.
that was that was my hook there.
Well, yeah, like how many times have people reference wax on, wax off? You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's just
probably in the
like
last week I've done it. So, yeah.
There's just something about when you find out that your thing has been picked up in different countries and different
Yeah.
spaces.
Pretty cool.
Oh man, whew, it
Yeah.
is so good. I that
Yeah.
is one thing that always just, when I've launched something, and I worked for an obesity association,
Ooh,
World
okay.
Obesity Association, and it was about like promoting like and helping different associations around the world like help combat obesity and
Oh,
you
okay.
know the research into it and stuff like this. And
Yeah.
because like whenever people talked about like things like obesity and stuff, the images they used, right, it was someone stuffing a burger in their face or
Yeah.
someone in too small clothes. And
Yeah.
so one thing I did was launch this new image bank. So I had to
Oh,
create
what
this.
a great idea, Kevin.
Oh man, it
By
was
the way, I don't know if you know this. I used to weigh 400 pounds.
no,
So yeah. So when you're talking about this stuff, I very personally relate to it. But you're right about the images.
yeah, it's terrible. And
Yeah.
so if you're a researcher or you're a doctor and you're talking about treatment and success of a treatment, you can't use those images.
No, God, I hope not. Yeah.
No, right? And so also because we are like the global umbrella for every country's association. So
Yeah.
it was about creating images that you could use in Germany, Nigeria,
Yeah.
Cuba, like Sweden, just all over the
Yep.
place. So
Representation for sure. Yeah.
yeah, which was crazy, right? Because so I'm working with a model agency to get me models and stuff. And I'm like, yo, so I gave them a brief and I'm talking, I need a diverse cast of people. I need people of different sizes and all of
Mhm.
this. And they sent me a load of people. There was no diversity in these. So I kept on having to go back and go, I need diversity.
Yeah.
I need diversity. Send me diversity.
Yeah.
And they and on the like fifth time around, I finally got some diverse people involved.
Yeah.
And
I mean, sometimes when you say diversity, they send you a blonde instead of a brunette. And you're like, no, I meant skin color,
yeah,
ethnicity.
yeah.
So
And
yeah.
so this whole campaign, like when we were doing the shit, because I had to then once I finally got all the actors and everything like that. So then I had to break down the shooting schedule and
Mhm.
of the different kind of scenes that I needed and what was in the scene and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I was running the shoot itself, and we were doing one in a coffee shop, and I was sorting out something that was going wrong somewhere. And I turn around and they're just about to take a shot. And I'm just like, yo, you need to stop right now. Because I'm like, so it was meant to be a girl ordering like some water
Okay.
and a healthy snack, right?
Yeah.
And they've got her getting water and a muffin. And I'm just like, no muffin. Get the muffin out the shop. Have her buy nuts or grapes or something. No muffin. And they're like, but you know, you said a snack. I'm like, healthy snack. Healthy snack. What are we doing? Yeah.
Mm,
It was
muffin.
just like
Now I
crazy.
want a muffin. I want a banana nut muffin. Sounds delicious.
Oh man. But when I launched it, because we had this big congress in Vancouver. So I was launching that there. I was launching World Obesity Day and just a few. And then we had all these like school programs and stuff like that. And so I launched it. And on launch, we got picked up by The Guardian, Huffington Post, the
Oh, fantastic.
BBC,
Congrats.
and just all these outlets around the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
Like, oh my God. And it was just the thrill of like finding out that it'd been picked up in all of these different places
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just there's just a buzz about it, you know what I mean?
I mean, look, I get that buzz when I place a movie somewhere, you know? That's
Mm,
it's we're all chasing a high.
yes, yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean the year's running down, right? But how is that for you on a film front? Does that
Mm.
slow like
Um, yeah, it can. I don't know that it does in mainstream like studio films, but for indies, yeah, you don't see a lot of films like what I work on coming out around the holidays unless it is a holiday movie. Indies kind of get lost in the crux of award season. So
Mm,
like usually the slowest month for me is January and maybe like the beginning of February.
right.
Um, but that's fine. It's the perfect time of year to slow down for me. Um, so yeah, and then you'll get into the summer months where I'm just like constantly, moving and grooving. So, um, yeah, yeah.
Uh, is there like something you wish when people come to you that they've considered? You know what I mean? Like a pet peeve when, like, I'm bringing you a film and I'm like, oh, do this thing, or I haven't thought about a certain thing. Like, how best would you like people to approach you, I guess?
Approach me. I mean, I don't care how, as long as they approach me. No, I mean, look, 90% of my business is referral based. I'm really lucky. I try to take really good care of my reputation.
Mm,
Uh, Sometimes it's easier than others. Uh, how do I want people to come to me? Just with an open mind. And look, in the best case scenario, maybe with realistic expectations. I can't
yeah.
really, like, there are obviously exceptions, but like I am probably not going to make you Glenn Powell, right? Like that is a tough thing to do with a 80-minute movie with actors in it that are not necessarily known or may even be first timers. You will not be Top Gun Maverick.
Mm,
You will not be on Drew Barrymore, probably. So like I just, people should come, and I very rarely have to deal with that, right? Like most of my clients are realistic, but I've definitely had people who are like, I made this 20-minute short with my mom, and I want to get my mom on CNN. And I'm like, okay. I mean, the other thing I always tell people is that a good publicist will not guarantee you anything,
yeah.
right? Like we work in an earned media space. Paid media, great. I can buy you your coverage. Earned media, public relations is earned media. I can't guarantee that for anybody. And if I'm pitching, I don't know what else is on their desk. I don't know if they had a death in their family. I don't know if they just got back from a vacation. I don't know if they have 9 films they have to watch in the next 24 hours. You never know how to gauge the reporter you're pitching to, right? So
Mhm.
if you're a filmmaker and you go to a publicist and they say, I guarantee you 10 reviews and 10 interviews, I think they're doing something shady. I think they're selling you bullshit.
Yeah.
There is press out there you can pay for coverage, pay for play. Maybe they're doing that. I'm not judging anybody for it. Indie films are scrappy. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I try not to do that. I certainly don't as habit. But look, I just, again, it's all earned media. When you pay a publicist, you're not just paying for the activities, that's not the right word, but you're not just paying for me to physically do what I do. You're also paying for my 19 years of experience and all the relationships I have built over those nearly 2 decades, which I try to leverage into getting you the coverage you deserve.
Mm, yeah. That I
That's the
think.
best I can promise anybody, that you'll get my best effort. And my best effort's pretty great, in my opinion.
Oh, it most definitely is, right? Because the way, what I mean, people, as I say, people talk about you, but then it's also, what I mean, people talk about the fact that they've been able to get into this space and talk to these people, and
Yeah.
like even things like year one, right? It was is it Lindsay Landsberg?
Wow. Good,
Lauren.
good memory. That sounds right.
I think it was Lauren Landsberg, right?
Lauren, yes, I just threw it into my search. Lauren Loisberg.
Lowe'sburg,
Yeah.
yes.
uh, Yeah. God, I wish I could remember every filmmaker I work with. Most of the times I remember the movies, not always the names behind them. But Lauren was great. Lauren really had her, I remember Lauren because she really had her shit together. She had manageable and realistic expectations. She is one of the filmmakers who was like, I'll do whatever I need to do to get this film out there, and actually meant it. I think
Mm,
everyone means that when they say it, but then when you tell them they have to do X, Y, and Z, they're like, well, I don't really want
yep.
to do that one thing. Lauren was game. And if memory serves, which is often the case with independent film, she was also juggling a full-time job while she was
Mm,
promoting the film, and she made it work. Um, so yeah, she was great. She was great, and that film is wonderful. And I believe, depending on when this comes out, I believe she's got an award nomination with somebody, not like an Oscar, but I think there's an award nomination in her future for something.
mm. Yeah, because I think at the time she was on some sort of like list for up and coming like directors
Yeah,
or
something
something.
like that. There's also some media outlets that have their like their own awards programs and nominate people at the end of the year. Um, like the American Women Film Journalist Organization. Um, who else? Obviously, a lot of the critics associations do their own awards.
Mm.
I don't know if you're familiar with Film Threat.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
they do their own awards program. You know, I think she'll probably find herself nominated for something or another um, one of these days. That film is great.
Oh, really is. And
Yeah.
I'm just one of the very first interviews you got me, Clairvoyant, with Michaela
Oh,
Whitman and
and
Arthur.
Arthur. Yeah. Yeah, they're great. I have worked
Oh
with them
my
a few times since as well. Talk about a filmmaker who will do what they got to do to get their film out there. Like Arthur and Michaela will like hit the ground running.
God.
Like
Mm.
they will look up email addresses, they will make cold phone calls, they grind. And that film was really clever, very, very well received. They have made a couple of films since that were equally well received. Uh, and Michaela as an actress, you know, I think she's got a big future ahead of her. She's still very young. But I think, you know, they're motivated, they're ambitious, and in a good
Oh
way. Yeah.
for sure. And yes, because I was
So funny. Was Clairvoyant the first film I ever sent you?
I can't remember if it was Clairvoyant or Carla.
Oh,
Miss
Angela.
Angela. So
Oh my
yes.
God. You know, she passed away this year. Yeah.
No.
I actually ran into her grandson a couple months ago and was able to pay my respects because I'd run into him. But yeah, she passed away this year. Um, she got a Grammy nomination though in her 90s. I mean, that woman, she was amazing. Amazing.
Mm.
And I got to work with Andy Garcia on that project. That was pretty cool.
Oh man. Yeah, that was so great. Because yeah, I think the first three films was Miss Angela, American Badger, and Clairvoyant.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and also, I'm looking up when American Badger came out, but Clairvoyant at least was a COVID movie. It
Yeah.
was 2021, I think, you know? That also like in some cases that was an advantage because people were home and looking for stuff to watch.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
American
I
Badger I
think
think was pre-COVID, but
I
that
think
filmmaker, I think his name is Kirk or Kurt.
yes,
Um,
Kurt Cassetti or
Yeah,
something
he also had
like
like a French
mm.
last name. That was really cool to work on because he was a stunt man. He was
Yes.
directing his first feature, and he wrote this really great essay that I got placed in nofilmschool.com about, um, you know, uh, it was very authentic and personal to him, but the gist of it was like, you know, let's give our stunt people more credit.
Yes.
Like
Because
they are literally killing themselves for you.
mm,
And let's give them an Oscar or something, you know, like let's get these guys some recognition. And I believe I'd have to check this or you can check this. I think the Oscars are
yes,
adding in a
they are.
stunt direction category.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, it got announced. I think it was last year they announced it, but
and
the
I
thing
think
that
it's for
kind of
2026.
yeah, it irritated me because I'm just like, they weren't going to do it the following year. It was
Yeah.
like, it was 2 years away or something.
Well, and I think part of that is just the nature of the business, because awards campaigns get planned, at least with the major studios. I mean, they're planning that stuff way in advance, you know? So maybe that's why. It's interesting. I have a friend who is a stunt performer, and I was talking to her about that topic. And she said, you know, on one hand, yes, she and her colleagues, peers, they deserve recognition. And it is an art. It is definitely a skill. And it's crazy what they do. And there's things that are considered stunts that you don't realize are stunts. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're doing all kinds of stuff you don't even realize. But also it's like, you know, a stunt person for Harry Potter is very different than a stunt person for The Rock. You know, I'm thinking of an action movie I like. You know what I mean? Like there's a really big difference between somebody levitating and flipping over as opposed to like Sean Connery getting blown up and thrust out to sea. And she's, you know, her point was like, how do you measure that? How do you compare that? There's so much that comes into play. And then it's like, do you separate women from men? Do you not? Do you, you know, but I think what the Academy did with that, if I'm remembering correctly, and you seem to know, I think what they're doing is the award is for like best stunt direction.
Yeah.
Which I think helps kind of level the playing field a little, because it's really looking at the stunt direction for that film and
Yeah. Rather
which
than
undertaking was the most successful.
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be curious to see how they play it out. I think it's cool that they're trying it. It's definitely better than some other things the Academy has tried to shake things up. So, like I think there was a point where they were going to do like a fan favorite film category or something like that, which everyone believed was really just a way to get, you know, Black Panther nominated for an Oscar at the time. But anyway, you never
Yeah.
know until you try, I guess.
True. But yeah, I'm hoping that the stunt award is on the second day, right? The televised day, and they don't throw it in the one where no one ever sees or hears about, which is such a shame, I feel.
Yeah, and you know, and they always bring someone out on stage to talk about the awards that were previously given out. You know, it's tough, right? Because I think what people forget, and I'm not defending it, if it were up to me, they should put every award televised, and a nerd like me, I would watch the whole thing and love it. But, you know, look, a network like ABC or whoever, CBS, whoever's broadcasting it here in America, you know, they're also obligated to advertisers and ratings, and you know, at the end of the day, a layperson who maybe doesn't work in the industry is not looking to sit through a 5-hour broadcast, you know, which is a bummer, but like, that's just facts. Like there's nothing you can do about that. My grandma doesn't care about sound editing. You know what I mean? So it's tricky. I don't know how you navigate that situation. And I don't know if there is a solution that satisfies everybody. I'm sure there isn't, in fact. But you know, we all do what we can do.
Yeah, I think you just stream it online so people can.
That would be great. I'm actually, that's a really good point. They should stream that other ceremony online if they don't already. I would watch it. I love award shows. I know people think they're passé, but I love an award show. I grew up in Los Angeles. The glamour of Hollywood, like that was all I wanted to be a part of as a kid, you know, and I still love it. I love the dresses and the comedy shtick and the, you know, the montages and even like the in memoriam. I love all of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
mean,
I think,
when done well, it's great.
yeah, and I think, you know, look, if you get to a place where you're working in this industry and you don't like that stuff, like that's a bummer. You know, like we're all really lucky to be here.
Oh, for sure.
So,
For
you know.
sure.
Kevin, I feel badly. I've taken up a lot of your time today. I'm just looking at the clock.
Oh, it's always great talking to you, man. So time isn't a thing, but oh yeah, you know what? It doesn't even seem that it's been that long.
I
And I
just looked at the clock and I was like, oh my God, like, but now I understand why my clients like end up being like, oh my God, we went for 2 hours and it was so great. And I'm always like, what the hell did they talk about for 2 hours? And then I listen to the episode. But yeah, it's funny. You're very good at, you're good. You're like free flowing, easy. I mean, 400 episodes, like that's what an accomplishment. I mean, first of all, well, not even first of all, because now we're wrapping up, but like congratulations, Kevin. Like what an achievement. So great. And working with you is such a pleasure always.
I appreciate that. I really do, because I just love having the opportunity to talk to people about the great work that they do. It's just so fascinating to be able to do that. And, because at the very beginning, when I was trying to get this up and running and everything, it's just like people, you were getting offered like 10 minutes and 15 minutes. And whenever I kind of try to like break down my idea, right, and it'd be like, no, I want it to be long form and give people they're just like, yeah, no, don't be silly, no. And so when I came across like yourself and then all the other people, it was so just, you feel so blessed that someone trusts you to be able to have a conversation that isn't, I mean, you're not trying to one up people, you're not trying to go gotcha, you know what I mean, you're not luring people into saying something sensational.
No, I mean, you're doing what we're doing now. You're just having a free flowing, almost spontaneous conversation about something you both are passionate about, right? Which is the business of show.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah,
hugely, and really it's like the work I did with you opened the doors to be able to, get even more stuff, because people saw it and were like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'll let him do my stuff. So
good. I'm glad that helped.
Yeah, that's why it's just like always a big thing about trying to get you on at certain times, because it's just like you really are like part of the backbone of what this is.
Oh, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Look, I'm really lucky. I've been doing this for 19, almost 20 years, and next year will be my 20th anniversary, I guess. But
Nice.
Look, like I said, I grew up in LA, in Hollywood. I always wanted to be part of the arts in some way or another, and now I get to, and that's pretty cool. Like I'm not ignorant to the fact that a lot of people want to work in the business that I get to work in. So I'm always very grateful. I'm always excited to meet new artists. I still get kind of starstruck when I get to meet on the rare occasion I get to meet with like the really big guys, so, I'm lucky. And then I get to meet interesting people like you who live in London or England or whatever. And it's like, I would never have met you otherwise. So that's very cool.
Yeah, no, it really is. It really is. And it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So let people know how they can get in contact with you, because they might have films, TV shows, and because
sure.
the TV shows, like I remember Play for It, Play It by Ear,
Play It by Ear, and also one I worked on this year, the one with Amy Madigan, was Department of One. That was a good one. It was a series that premiered at Dances with Films. I don't take series too often, but for a film festival, I certainly would. But yeah, where to find me? Well, look, hopefully everyone watching this or listening sees my name somewhere, because basically all of my social media handles are AJ Feuerman, all one word, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and LinkedIn. But and then to email me, it's the same thing. It's ajfeuerman@gmail.com. So I'm very well branded and easy to find, as long as you can spell my last name.
Boom. Well, people, all the information will be on the webpage for this episode. So, if you've got something that you want to get to the masses and you want someone that will help you and be kind and just generous with their time, you can find no one better than
Oh,
AJ.
thank
So
you. You're so
do
sweet.
that.
Thank you.
It's true. It's
All
all.
right. Well, thank you very much. You're hired. You can be my publicist. And, this has been great. It's lovely. Like, I don't get to catch up with you personally very often on this level. Usually I'm pitching you something and we're hashing out a schedule with a time difference, right? So this was very nice. It was really great to talk with you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on and helping
My
us
pleasure.
celebrate 400. I
All
appreciate it.
right. Happy 400. Congratulations.
Thanks, AJ.
All
Looking
right.
forward
Bye.
to working next.
All
Take
right. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
care.